where does your soul come from? Not your body. We know where that comes from. Cells dividing, parents, genetics, a long chain of biology stretching back through time. But the thing inside you that feels, that wonders, that asks this very question right now, where did that come from? This is the question Rudolf Steiner set out to answer. Modern science has a strange relationship with the soul. Even psychology, which literally means the study of the soul, would rather not talk about it. Psychologists study thoughts. They study behavior. They measure brain activity and chemical reactions, but the soul itself, too vague, too uncertain, too impossible to measure. Better to ignore it entirely. And so a strange phrase emerged in academic circles: psychology without the soul. The study of the soul that refuses to study the soul. Science says humans are simply a higher form of nature. We follow the same laws as everything else. A stone rolls when pushed, a river flows downhill. A human develops when born, no mystery required, no soul necessary. But Steiner said science is making the same mistake it made centuries ago. A mistake that future generations will look back on with disbelief. In the 1600s, scientists believed that simple life forms just appeared out of nowhere. Worms from mud, flies from rotting meat, maggots from decay, life spontaneously generating from non-living matter. An Italian researcher named Francesco Redi said that was wrong. He proved it with careful experiments, and he nearly lost his life for challenging the accepted view. But today, everyone accepts what Redi discovered. Life only comes from life. This is now basic science. No serious person believes that living creatures spring from dead matter. Steiner said the same revolution in understanding is coming for consciousness. One day, science will accept another truth. Spirit only comes from spirit. Just as we now find it absurd that people believed life emerged from lifeless mud, future generations will find it equally absurd that we believed consciousness emerged from unconscious matter, that we thought the soul crawled out of chemistry. The soul did not grow out of biology. The soul came from something already ensouled. This insight changes everything. Here is something strange about the soul that we rarely consider. It is the closest thing to us. Closer than anything we see or touch or measure. We are it. We do not have a soul the way we have a hand. We are the soul. And yet we overlook it completely. Every external observation passes through our senses first. Light enters the eye. Sound enters the ear. And our senses can deceive us. Our eyes can trick us. Our ears can mishear. A colorblind person sees the world differently than you do. No two people perceive the exact same shades of color. Our experience of the outer world is always filtered, always interpreted, always potentially distorted. But the soul is not filtered through anything. It is what you are before the filtering begins. It is the one doing the perceiving. So why is it so hard to see? Because we have trained ourselves to look only outward. We have spent centuries sharpening our minds for the material world and letting them grow dull to the spiritual. We have brilliant tools for examining atoms and galaxies, but we have forgotten how to examine ourselves. We have simply forgotten how to look inward. The great Russian writer Tolstoy built his entire philosophy on this realization that the soul is closer to us than anything external, and yet we ignore it while chasing distant things. This insight shook him to his core. So what is the soul exactly? It is not a ghost living inside your body, waiting to escape. It is not a passenger riding along in a vehicle made of flesh. That image misses the point entirely. The soul is the activity itself. It permeates everything you do. Your movement, your breath, your heartbeat, your digestion, your feeling, your thought. The soul is not separate from these functions. It is expressing itself through them. But it is not equally present in all these activities. Some are more ensouled than others. The ancient researchers understood this deeply. They saw that the soul has layers, degrees, stages of development, and they mapped these stages with remarkable precision. The first stage they called the vegetative soul. Consider how you began. A single cell, microscopic, invisible to the naked eye. And from that cell your entire body formed. Eyes that see, ears that hear, a heart that beats, bones that support, nerves that feel, all of it built from the inside out. This is exactly how a plant grows from a seed. An acorn contains the pattern for an entire oak tree. The seed holds the blueprint, and some invisible intelligence unfolds it into form. This building force, this organizing power that shapes living matter, exists in plants. The ancients called it the plant soul, and it lives in you as well. Everything about your body's growth and repair belongs to this level. The healing of wounds, the replacement of cells, the silent maintenance happening inside you right now as you listen. At this stage of soul activity, you are no different from a flower or a tree. The second stage they called the animal soul. Here is the difference between a plant and an animal. A plant does not flinch when you cut it. It does not cry out. It does not run away. But you do. You feel, you desire, you move toward pleasure and away from pain. You want things. You fear things. You react to the world with feeling. This capacity for sensation, for desire, for emotional response, you share with all animals. Watch the bee building its hive with mathematical precision. Watch the beaver constructing its dam. Watch the dog learning to respond to commands. All of this belongs to the animal soul. From this level of soul, you absorb the world of sensation. Pleasure and pain fill your organs, just as food and water fill your cells. Without this layer, you would grow but never feel. You would exist but never experience. The natural scientists are correct when they say animals have souls. They do. The animal soul is real, and we share it with every creature that feels. But if you only had the vegetative and animal souls, you would still be an animal. Perhaps intelligent, perhaps trainable, but trapped in the immediate moment, bound to sensation, locked in the present. What lifts humans beyond the animal kingdom? The ancient Pythagoreans pointed to one remarkable ability. Humans can count. This sounds simple, but consider what it means. Not just recognizing that one pile has more than another. Animals can do that. But grasping abstract mathematical truth. Understanding that 2 times 2 equals 4 as an eternal fact. This is not a feeling. It is not a sensation. It is not something your eyes see or your hands touch. It is a truth that exists independent of your body, independent of your planet, independent of your time. Whatever beings live on distant worlds, whatever strange senses they possess, whatever alien colors they see or sounds they hear, this mathematical truth remains the same for all thinking minds everywhere. When you grasp something eternal like this, you are using the third stage of the soul, the intellectual soul, the spirit soul, the spirit soul. This is what makes you a citizen of eternity. Through this capacity, you touch something that will never change, never decay, never die. Now here is the question that changes everything. Where does this spirit soul come from? The vegetative soul draws its substance from the physical world. It builds your body from matter. The animal soul draws from the world of desire and instinct. It fills you with feeling, so the spirit soul must draw from somewhere too. It must have a source. Nothing comes from nothing. If the spirit soul exists, if you truly have access to eternal truths, then that capacity must come from something eternal. It must come from spirit. The philosopher Aristotle reached this problem and could not solve it. He built the body according to natural law, step by step. But when he reached the soul, he had no explanation. He resorted to miracles. Each soul, he said, is created fresh by God, a new creation appearing from nothing at the moment of birth. Later Christianity adopted this same view, every soul brand new, appearing from nowhere, a divine miracle repeated billions of times, but Steiner rejected this solution. If we do not accept miracles for biology, why accept them for consciousness? Science carefully traces how animal species evolved from earlier species. No biologist believes a lion appeared directly from cosmic forces. It descended from ancestors. It developed through long chains of cause and effect. Steiner said, apply the same logic to souls. Soul comes from soul, just as life comes from life. Your soul is not a miracle appearing from nowhere. It is the result of a soul that came before, and it will be the cause of a soul that comes after. From the eternal origin, your soul arose, and because it came from the eternal, it is itself eternal. This is why every human being is unique in a way no animal is. One tiger is essentially the same as another tiger. The species defines the individual. If you understand tigers, you understand each tiger. But no two human souls are identical. Each carries its own history, its own development, its own long journey of accumulated becoming. Education, properly understood, is not filling an empty container with information. It is awakening what already lies dormant within, drawing out what the soul has brought with it from before. And this awakening must be individual, because every soul arrived here by a different path. Throughout history, great teachers have appeared, beings who stood above ordinary humanity and could see the soul directly. Buddha, Confucius, the founders of the ancient mysteries. They understood what science has forgotten. These teachers did not create the soul's potential. They helped it remember itself. Our age has achieved wonders in the external world. We have mapped the genome. We have split the atom. We have sent machines to distant planets. But we have lost something essential. We have lost faith in our own souls. To restore that faith, to revive belief in the eternal and imperishable within us, in the divine core of our being, that is the task before us. and it begins with a simple shift. Stop looking only outward. Turn your attention to the one thing closer to you than anything else in the universe. The soul that has been here all along, waiting to be seen. Rest now. And as you drift into sleep, know that the deepest part of you is older and more enduring than you ever imagined. Subscribe for more Rudolf Steiner's sleep lectures.